And so the last step of this in your exploration, once you've identified that small list of companies, is to start making contact with the company. And I don't want people to confuse what I'm talking. This is not soliciting a company for a job. It's very specifically not that. I'm going to put that out there right away. This is not for you to ask for a job, right? And this is for you to get research from somebody who actually has jobs like the one you want to get that knows what to do there. So, and when I say reach out to an employer, I'm not talking about cold calling. There's many, many ways to do that. And I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about that right now. And I'm going to start with a story. So some of you know, I started out with a Russian major and I had to switch to technology. I knew that I had to make a very immediate change. And so I did the exact same thing that I'm talking about. I looked around. I was like, well, damn, I'm not going to be able to work in Russian. I gotta, crunch on this. I love the internet. I like where it's going. I think it's going to be a big thing. I like the technology. I like coding. I like typing. I like being in front of a computer. So I went through all that whole process, and I was like, well, what kind of companies even exist for the internet? When it was nothing that I could think of. I didn't know. So I started, going through the phone book. I mean, this is the '90s. There was no internet yet, and I started looking around for different companies. I'm like, okay, I mean, you're gonna laugh, but there was like AOL and CompuServe, and what's this right here? There's there's this what? What's this? And so there's Teleport. There was another company called X Mission, which is still around in Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm like, oh, hey, look at that. Because I like the idea of using, I had just figured out how to use the internet by dialing in, and believe me, you can find a way to relate this to your own situation. So I loved it. I love the idea of working for a company that provided these internet services. I knew that was going to be the future. I wanted to be associated with that. So I called them. I called them straight up. I called up X Mission and I asked to speak to the engineering department. I said, hello, I am a university student. I'm considering employment opportunities. I'm doing some research. Uh, I'm doing some career-related research and related to my education about what are the technologies that would you mind? Is there somebody from the engineering department? Would they mind speaking with me for a few minutes? And I got they patched me through to the engineering team, and I got this is something that's kind of interesting side. Most people, it's like the career day thing. Like when you have a dad or a mom sit, go up in front of the class and talk about what they do. A lot of people, if they don't enjoy even if they don't enjoy their job, they do love talking about what they do. Some don't, some really don't, but most people, when you get them talking about what it is they do and you show genuine interest, they love talking about it. And those people are fantastic mentors, by the way, because all they have to do is answer questions. And so sure enough, I got patched through to this engineer who loved his job. Oh my God, he loved it so much. And he was telling, oh, that's thank you so much. I was just really grateful to him for giving me his time. I was like, I'm just trying to find my way, and I just thought it would be cool to work for a company like X Mission. Please understand, I'm not applying here. I'm not trying to get a job from you. I just am trying to prepare myself. And I asked him this question, and I want you to write this down. If you're going to follow my advice on this, I want you to write this question down. I asked him the question. I said, what one skill, if I learned one specific skill, one specific thing that I could do, one specific, if I could learn one specific skill that would make it so that you had to hire me, what would it be? And without dropping a beat, he answered, learn Perl. And if you know about the '90s, and there's a bunch of veterans that are laughing right now, because Perl's an old technology. But at the time, the code base that I am immediately right now, I'm very gainfully employed, migrating an 80,000 line Perl code base over to Go, and other things. So I mean, it was definitely the right technology for the time. Was he influenced by his own biases? Yes, he definitely was. And he might have told me learn Arch today or something, right? And it would have been wrong. But the point is that this person who was employed doing the kind of job, it's like, tell me what your jobs are. What is the name of, what's your title? What are the titles of the people in your organization? And I was taking mad notes, like writing down all of these cool things that he was telling me about his job. And he was loving talking to me about it. And he probably walked away from the conversation thinking, God, I just helped somebody out. And this can happen. It doesn't have to be you cold calling a company. This can also happen. Another person I met, InfluxDB. InfluxDB, I met one of the chief engineers at InfluxDB at a Linux meetup. And we were, shooting the breeze and talking about their opportunities. And I was just so curious about it. I was asking him, and then I actually brought some of my people. A couple of them ended up getting, one of them ended up getting a job there, and a lot of them, all of them were being considered, but one of them actually got the job. And then, they would talk. They would talk with each other, and they'd ask questions because it was a meetup scenario. So it was like informal mentoring. The point is, I wasn't talking to some official company representative. I was talking to somebody who was working in the job that I met through a meetup about the job. Well, what is it that you do? Why are you coding this? Are you coding in Go or Rust or C? What's going on with that? What are the things? And people would ask the questions. What is the target programming language that you're hiring for? What is, and so, and, notes. This was not officially a solicitation for employment, which takes the pressure off of the person that you're talking to. If you are pushing for a job from the very beginning, but if you tell them right at the beginning, look, I just want to understand the positions in your organization because I want to prepare myself to have a job for you. And I actually use this as a mentor as well. I called cold called several companies, tech companies in the area, one of whom I won't name, but one of our guys got a solar energy Python developer job there. And I called them. I said, "Look, I've got people. I'm helping to mentor people and prepare this, the beginning upcoming tech workforce. What do you need today? What is the number one thing, the number one skill that you are missing today that you need? Give me, the top three. Give me the top one and the top three." And I said, "We need blah 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 blah." And I said, "What if I told you I had somebody who could do that right now? Would you want to talk to them?" And that was me as a mentor. And they said, "Absolutely." And they talked to him, and they had just gotten a grocery clerk job, and they quit that job, and they ended up becoming a Python programmer at 16 for a solar energy company. Which one would you rather have on your resume? So I'm talking a lot about this one because the act of making contact with a potential employer is scary. That's the thing that people freak out about. They go, "Oh my God, I'm gonna, I don't, they're gonna think I'm stupid and blah, blah, blah." But if you go in there telling them that you don't know anything and that you want to know more, and then if they may come back after the fact and they say, "I remember you were saying that you were interested in learning that, and do you mind me, keeping your, do you have a resume?" I'm like, "No, I'm not ready yet." But later on, you might run into you might have created a bridge there for later. And so, you go learn Perl in 21 days or whatever. I never got a job for XMission, but you know what I did do? Within 3 months, I got a job for Teleport Internet Services, which was 5 times as big as XMission in Utah, doing Perl programming specifically. And when they hired me, they apologized that they couldn't pay me $30,000 more. And I had already doubled my income from where I was before because I went to another internet service provider because I knew that was the thing I wanted to work for. And then I knew that's where the jobs were. And I had talked with an internet service provider in the engineering department, in their development department, about the potential jobs. I had followed their advice, bought Perl in 21 days, just crammed that and learned myself, wrote a whole bunch of programs. I wrote a mail merge program because I thought it was cool. And then I used that, and when I applied to the other job, they apologized for not being able to pay me more money. And I had just learned Perl like within 3 months. They didn't care. They didn't care how I knew it. They were like, "Oh my God, we found a Perl programmer." Now, look, I know that's silly with the Perl thing, but I just want you to know that is how you get a job. That's how you prepare for a job. That's how you make the associations that you're going to get. And it's how you start to identify what you're going to do. And as soon as you start to do that, then the questions of self-doubt and direction and not knowing what you want to do or where you want to go, they start to fade away. And now you become really, really focused because now not only have you kind of done the exercise to figure out what it is you want and everything, you've identified potential employers, you've talked with specific people doing similar jobs to what you want to do who are encouraging you. And then you also got the plan from them, a very specific plan about one specific skill or two that are going to make you completely indispensable to the company. And then you focus on that thing, focus on that thing. The other stuff that we do in the boost is kind of supportive for that one thing, whatever it is. And then that one thing is the thing that you leverage. You get the job, boom, and you're in. And then you can go from there. You can be the person that helps the other person decide what they want to do next. Um, so the rest of the videos here are going to be how to research job opportunities and things like that.